right, so here's the weekly update. We were able to finish. So my dad's 72 and I'm 50. So the two of us, a little over a century, we were able to get these posts and beams in, and we got all those in all by ourselves. So give a few details about how we were able to get that done this week. So part of it was, so our structural engineer calls for some steel plates to go into the concrete wall. That's an 8-inch concrete wall. And this is a 15-inch beam that sits on top of it. And then the open web floor trusses sit on top of the beam. So I've got one post here, and that obviously goes onto a massive footer. And then another post. So those posts are 8 inches by 8 inches. That also goes onto a massive footer. I was able to cut them with a chainsaw, and then we used the planer because the 8x8 rough cut was a little bit too large for these Simpson ties that connect the beam. So we had to plane it just a little bit so that those would fit, and was able to get that on. And then same thing over here. This is our third beam that we have down here in the crawl space. Crawl space is 6 foot 2 inches, which makes it so that all of us who are under 6 feet can walk around, but we don't have to pay property tax on this space down here. So we'll use it as storage space. We'll use it as alternative air conditioning in the summer, lots of storage space, and probably also use it for a lot of the utilities. So over here, same thing, had to carve all that out so that it could be a beam pocket. And then it was very tricky because we had already put in all the open web floor trusses, because everyone says, yeah, you want your trusses in before you backfill. Well, after I put them in, I realized, yeah, not so much for ICF, because that's just 2.5 inches of foam. And so if the dirt really wanted to press against it, then it would just compress the foam. But I waited 28 days before we backfilled and haven't had any issues. But I am super excited that we now have all of our open web floor trusses sitting on top of the beams. We have our full strength. The reason for these posts and beams is from one end of the house to the other, it's about almost 29 feet. And so open web floor trusses technically can handle it, but by putting in these beams in between, the post and beams in between, then it'll make it so that there'll be a lot less deflection. And then, well, there actually is one issue down here in this crawl space. And that is, as you can see, I have to duck. And I have a couple of goose eggs because I forgot to duck as we were putting them in. But apart from that, as long as we remember to duck, it'll be nice. So, excited to work on that south wall this upcoming week. Hopefully we'll get quite a bit done. So we'll start looking like some windows up on the basement floor. So if you want to follow along on this crazy journey, be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.